this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Everywhere I go, Lord, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, everywhere I go, Lord, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, Lord, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Amen. Truly, Jesus gave us this life, and we ought to let it shine. So that somebody that don't know the Lord may see the Lord that liveth in us and cry out in their time of need, what must I do to be saved? This week's lesson is coming from smallest book in the Old Testament, Obadiah. Obadiah. And the topic this morning is Edom's condemnation. Edom's condemnation. And we're going to see in the lesson today why Edom was condemned. But then with the condemnation, there was some joy at the end. And it's always one of the things that keep out the Bible is that whenever God says he's going to destroy something, he usually doesn't destroy it totally. He always leaves a remnant. He always leaves a remnant that's going to come back and follow and do what he says do. So we can't never say that God is not faithful, because he always leaves a remnant as a reminder of two things: of what I punished you for. That's why you done wrong, and I also give you another part is that you have a chance to get it right. You can't keep on going down the same road and expect the same result. But he said, you know a road is closed, and they remind you that the road is going to be closed for X amount of years. You keep on going down that road getting mad, then something's wrong with you. And that's what God was reminding us about our sin. He said, why are you going to keep on sinning and you get these consequences? Something's wrong with you. You need to change your direction, or you have to get a mental evaluation. So in our aim for change, it says, by the end of the lesson, we will identify opportunities to serve God, be inspired by God's expectation of his people for mutual love, and aid in times of trouble and intervention, and support one another in our experiences of injustice. Support one another in our experiences of injustice. What you say? Say that again, Pastor. And when we get into the lesson, I'm going to hit it a little bit, and it's really in the lesson. Uh, be careful how you write off family. Be careful. In the lesson, we're going to break it down. Be careful how you wish that a family member that's up today, when they start falling, how you cheer that they're falling. This is what Obadiah is saying. This is what happened. And the lesson is that they were happy that their nephews and their aunts and uncles were going through. And then on top of that, they had means to help them. They didn't. Not only did they not help them, they joined in with the people that was persecuting them. So that's just like today. We always like to give analogies. Sister Mother Town done something to me 4 years ago. I didn't let it go. And then when she starts going through or having financial issues in her home, I'm cheering. She got that what she deserved. Da, 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 da. And then when folks start robbing her house, taking her goods, I don't come to help her because she's my family. I'll go and help them steal some of the stuff with her. And saying she deserved that. But now we thinking like, well, who would do that? Who would do that? That's what Edom done in the lesson. They didn't help out. They didn't help out. So what our aim for change says aid in times of trouble and intervention, and support one another in our experiences of injustice. So we see today there's a lot of injustices that's going on in the world and in the community. And these injustices didn't just start recently. It's been going on, not for a while, it's been going on before the beginning of time. None has changed. Only thing me and my brother, we digress for a minute, me and my brother Richard often talking about community relations. And he's a rotary down in Oklahoma, he's a lot of local relations. And he says, one thing that we forget how to affect change is we have to be a part of the process. I'm going to probably get myself in trouble with media land and folks that might not agree. There's nothing wrong with marching. But after the marching is over, what are you going to do? And what did the march achieve? Did it achieve a law being changed for the better of the injustice that's being done in your neighborhood? Or is it still the same old, same old? But we bring attention to it, but what did we do about it? Again, we're in the lesson. Edom done some things that they shouldn't have. And this lesson is for us. We are doing some things that we shouldn't do. We are talking about some of our family members that we shouldn't do. We're happy for some of their downfalls that we shouldn't do. We could help them when we are not helping them. So this makes a good reflection. Well, wow, that's kind of hard. But we say, no, it's not hard because they've done what they've done. And the other part of that was they were taught their pride messed them up. We talked about it a little bit last week where they had this fortified city. On one side, nobody could come out because of the mountain, and they had only really one way to get in, and that was really guarded. Isn't it just like America today with our pride of our military might that nobody would dare attack us? But that's what we think. But if I'm looking correctly, and we're going to get into in focus, if I look correctly, I say America today is nothing but a modern day Israel. Israel thought the same thing. Just like we got the biggest military, we're the wealthiest, we're the most blah. Country. Nobody can come against us. But there's a God. There's one person. His name is God. That rules over everything. He's not going to allow you to do anything against his will for too long. He's going to, just like parents, he's going to chastise us sooner or later. He's going to talk to us nice, and it progressively gets worse. So if you're going to look at us in focus, it says Cleveland was ranked first in his class in scholastic achievement, but he ranked last among his peers. He was described as an arrogant know-it-all who had mastered the art of belittling and intimidating people. We all know somebody like that. You keep dodging people, and they catch up with you. These words was wise words of someone Cleveland didn't think much of then. 10 years later, as Cleveland sat on the curb outside an abandoned building he called home, he realized that the truth of his words spoken 10 years ago had actually caught up with him. His mistreatment of people over the years had left him friendless, jobless, and homeless. His fall came after someone who was never identified slipped something into his drink at a party. That drink triggered something in Cleveland's brain that altered his intellect, which in turn affected his future. With his dreams and hopes shattered, he was humbled to face the reality that he didn't know much of anything, and he really didn't feel like doing much of anything either. Cleveland's story reminds us that God cares how we treat others. How can our acts of kindness bring about God's victory in the world? How can our acts of kindness bring about God's victory in the world? just nice to be nice. And the scripture always also treat others how you would like to be treated. It doesn't say treat others how they treat you. It says treat others how you would like to be treated. We all would like to be treated nice at all times. Just because somebody don't treat us nice, does that give us the okay to treat them mean? Why do you? Well, we know all these things and we quote all these things, but God says once you said all the time, most of the time, that once you know better, you got to do better. And now you can't use that as an excuse no more because you already know and you willfully. Now that's willful disobedience. He said, I can punish you. Go ahead, brother. Well, yes and no, because now I had to realize now that there's a difference than just hitting to hit back and self defense. Because you're not going to stand there and let somebody slap you across the head 2 or 3 times. You might let it go 1 time, but 2 times, like you said, there's that fine line. 2 times, to me personally, any sex that's trying to harm me, my first instinct is that you're trying to kill me. And I need to preserve my life first. Do what I can. If I walk away and you follow me, then that's on me. What you did. If I walk way down to the back of the sanctuary and you follow behind me and up in my personal space, then I'm not liable for what happened. Because I gave you space. I gave you space. I don't want to confront. I've done all I could do. Try to walk away. But now in the lesson, in the lesson, in the lesson, it says keep on walking. Because you go back to the same thing. Vengeance belongs to me. But now what happens is you try to put a time limit on it. But now what happens is in those kind of situations I just said, we don't know what that person might have in their hand, in their pocket. I turn around, they might pull a knife out. So I'm walking away, but then they stab me in the neck, but then I'm gone. So we don't say those things. So we're going to look at Obadiah and see why Edom got condemned. And it's going to show us some things, not only about the lesson, but about ourselves. Again, like I said earlier, how we be careful, how we want our um, be joyful when our family falls. We celebrate. Like the times we came and I said, like your son, Tony, he's up. day. There was something you done something you really didn't. You said you let it go, but you didn't really let it go. And then when God starts dealing with him in a certain way, it seems like he's falling down. I see you got God getting you back for what you done to me. Blah 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 blah. And then instead of helping him when you can, you still rejoicing, jumping up and down. And then you see some stuff like, oh well, okay, he got some good stuff. Oh wow, I really like those pieces of shoes. He going out there instead of saving it for him, putting it aside, he takes it home for himself. God showed his good. He got what he deserved. But Obadiah is saying, no. He's saying we as Christians is going to get in trouble for it because we're being just like Edom in Obadiah's book. So he said we got to be careful now and look at those things. So now let's scripture lesson is going to jump around a little bit. It's going to go 1 to 4, then it's going to go to 10 and 11, then 15, and then 21. It said, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard of a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us arise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou hast dwelt in the cleft of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exaltest thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, same shall come thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stood upon the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his horses, and foreigners entered to his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was one of them. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall be returned upon thy own head. And Savior shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be of the Lord. So, I'm going to read a little bit of the background. And the background says, Obadiah is the shortest book of the Hebrew Testament, containing only one chapter, and Obadiah is one of the 12 minor prophets. Little is known about the writer of the book of, or the person of Obadiah. The name Obadiah means servant of Yahweh. The book begins with God calling Obadiah to experience a vision. The vision describes a condemning judgment against Edom due to its relationship with Judah. Its central message concerns the destruction of Jerusalem, which had been carried out by the Babylonians in 586 BC. The Edomites played a pivotal part in the tragedy. Located south of the Dead Sea, the Edomites decided in proximity to Judah and could have provided the advantage for protection. Situated by the southeast of Judah and notwithstanding his relationship as a brother of Judah, Edom refused to come to Judah's assistance during the siege and even assisted in Babylon by ravaging Jerusalem and many of its people as rescued. You could have helped, but choose not to. pastor is saying that we are responsible for only our actions. My actions will reflect what God deals with me on, not what you guys do. It's like you said, now, if we're Christians, now we know today there's a lot of professing, but not possessing. A lot of people are professing to be Christian, but their action does not line up with what the Word of God says. You can see it not only today, but out throughout the political realm. People remember when you started voting or paying attention to politics. Everybody get up here. I'm a Christian. I'm a this. I love the Lord. But their actions and their words do not portray what the scriptures say. The scriptures actually as represents of God. So in the end depth it says a message from God to the disobedient people. A message of God to us, disobedient people. You can't just make it abstract of them back then, because we can look at all our lives individually and see how we have been disobedient people on our own. And it says, God will rise in the battle against Edom and utterly destroy it because of its rejection of Israel and its subsequent destruction of the enemy. God will always give us a chance to get right what we're doing wrong. He doesn't necessarily very interesting in the Bible where somebody done something that was against them that they got cut off. But he always gives us a chance to get right wrong. And I say, by every day when he wakes you up, whatever you done yesterday, you have a right that day when he woke you up, get right. Now, getting right is not stopping what you do wrong. Because I could stop doing what I've done wrong, but I have not repented of it, then God can't move you to the next level. Because God would need you to acknowledge that what you were doing was wrong from the first place. So once I acknowledge I was doing something wrong, now that's in my mind, then I don't have a excuse or a get out of jail free card, per se, to continue to do that. And for the media, the pastor said, does acknowledging it make it right? Does acknowledging that you're doing something wrong make it right? And I say, does acknowledging Christ make you change? Go ahead, Brother Bob. Brother Bob asked the question, are we supposed to help the legal people that's coming across the border, even though we know there's criminal element with it? So we have criminal element amongst ourselves that's been born and raised in America, but we're not caring about that. And everybody that's crossing is not criminal. So it's that proverbial, as we are people of color has been saying for ages. Just because um, you do a crime, they're going to label all of us that look alike because you've done the crime. We say that's not fair. That's not fair, is it? So everybody have a right, but then it goes back to the same thing. Everybody, all parties are cutting the ball. We always say, in order to, not we, I say that in order for anything to work, both sides have to come together and make a compromise, which is a dirty word in politics. Because if you say compromise, that means I am weak in politics. I don't have nothing to stand on. But in order for something to work, there's no perfect plan. The only perfect plan is the salvation of Jesus Christ. That's it. Man does not have a perfect plan, but we need to have a plan in place to see what works. And then we can build off of that. Lesson. Obadiah, Edom. They saw some things going on. They had the opportunity to make it right, but they chose not to help. Same way today. All these politicians see a problem, but everybody just caught the finger. Now I go back to my wife's early age, and then I used to Lou, when she would say it to me, because it burns me up. She said, honey, we know what the problem is. Let's work on a solution. But I always wanted to argue about the problem. She took my argument right out of the box. She took it right out of the box. I don't have no argument no more. Let's work on a solution. God is challenging us every day. Let's work on a solution, first bettering ourselves, then bettering our community. It takes time, but anything worth doing is going to take time. Most people here own houses. In order to keep your house up, don't you got to do something with it? You just can't just go live in it, don't fix nothing up, don't clean, don't do nothing. But guess what? After a while, it's going to fall down. Same way with relationships. Edom was reminded that because they of their disobedience, that they was going to get punished. They see it all through the Bible, and back then they got prideful of their goods and their possession and their fortified mountains. Like nobody's gonna be able to touch us. We're good in our spot. So, we're serving God. God would not let nobody, the enemy, come into us and take us over. They acknowledge they're wrong. So that goes down to our second part. Edom's misplaced pride is a disease of the heart. And that's the crux of the matter. Most of us, me included, have a heart condition. And our heart condition comes because we do not want to renew our mind. Because we don't get all that bad and negative stuff out of our mind, it's going to affect our heart. So once our heart gets affected, it's going to be hard. And again, we use that word hard as a sweet, not to apply what God has put into our life. It's hard. I don't know what. But if it's something that you really want to do, you don't do that. You put all your effort into it. But now when it's dealing with somebody that you don't agree with, God says, go talk to the church and do this. I don't want to do that. It's hard. They're not going to listen to you. God didn't ask you. God says, do what I ask you to do, and I will do the rest. But we always trying to figure out down the road how God is going to do it. Like my wife said, I'm looking at the problem and not finding the solution. And God oftentimes already gives us the solution, but we don't want to do it because our pride, like Edom, our pride, their pride would allow them to go, because now, like you said, they might have done something to them, or they might have thought they was haughty in their wealth, whatever. Who they think they is? They always going around showing off. They're not showing off. They're just being generous with God gave them. But you call it boasting. So now you happy when you see them fall. They get in bad times. Again, you got some preachers and pastors of gospel that's going through right now. Some people are happy that they're going through. They're too big. I told you they were. No, God said, be careful. They are your family. No different than our physical family that we know that's out there doing something wrong. That we don't want to. We ain't praying for them. We should be praying for them and God's strength if we really turn around. But oftentimes we don't. And the end of that it says, Edom turned against Judah in her time of need, as she battled against the Babylonian siege on the brink of exile. God's plan would be that the strength and strategic position of Edom would be helpful to Judah against her enemies. It was the overwhelming pride of Edom that caused it to sin. The statement, your proud heart has deceived you, translated to the Hebrew meaning concerning Edom's heart and its pride in military might. Edom doubted that its armies could be defeated in battle. It paraded its military independence and power. So just he said, be mindful when you're up today. It seems like you have everything going on and in your face. Because he said that's easy now. You're easy to fall into pride. That's down. That's the place where he says you'll start thinking that you don't need God. Like a lot of people, I'm self-made. I've done this. Nobody helped me get to where I was. That's somebody took a chance on what you were selling or what you presented to get you where you were. Somebody gave you some finances to get where you were. Somebody. Right. They prayed for us and they laid the foundation. And the scripture always tells us, teach, train up a child in the way they should go. They will soon not depart. So if we train them right and trust God will give the increase in his time, then it's going to work all out. But oftentimes it goes back. We want everything to work out in our time. Our time. And I said that's one of the things that God has built to me is that I always go back to it. It's my one thing like the piece that's dead poet, but I love saying it. I always go back to the sermon Elder Faith is about. It's in the cup, talking about Psalms. And I say it all of our life is a cup. Whatever is in our cup of life, God already gave it to us when we were born. All the heartache, all the ups and downs, all the disappointments, all the joy is already in the cup. But it hasn't, some of it hasn't come to fruition yet. That didn't happen yet. But now when that negative thing happens in my life, we often look at it that it was something I was doing against God's will. I'm being punished. But oftentimes what I'm going through, sometimes it's not about me. Because God getting somebody else's attention to line up to his will. But we only look at the person that's going through it. To say, what did he do? What did he do? God must not be pleased with him. He's going through like that. But that's not necessarily that. So we got to look at it like Edom. If we have opportunities to save somebody that's in trouble, God is not going to hold me accountable for what Sister Kim should have done when she saw the person that needed help and go by on the street. If you can't necessarily get out and help somebody, you got cell phones now. You can call. I saw a person that got a flat tire, such. They look like they can help. So little things like that we can get. You don't necessarily have to get physically involved. But what happens now when God asks you to physically get involved when somebody's being injustice is being done to somebody? What do we do? The lesson is remind us what we should be doing. We should be helping. You see somebody breaking in your neighbor's house and drag them out, what do we do? I call